चीफ सेंटर ऑफ वहाबी मूवमेंट ड्यूरिंग द 19th century was पटना। वहाबी मूवमेंट का पटना था। वहाबी मूवमेंट 1820s to 1870s was a revivalist Islamic movement led by Sayyid Ahmad Barelvi, inspired by Abdul Wahab of Arabia and Shah Waliullah of Delhi. It was headquartered in Patna with branches in Bengal, Bihar, NWFP and Punjab. ठीक, बैटल ऑफ बालाकोट 1831। सर सैयद अहमद was killed in battle against the Sikh in modern day Pakistan. Who organized Kuka movement? Guru Ram Singh. Guru Ram Singh Kuka movement 1840s to 1872 led by Guru Ram Singh in Punjab. It aimed at Sikh religious purification and resistance against British rule. Ram Singh was exiled to Rangoon in 1872 and movement declined. Guru Ramdas फोर्थ सिख गुरु थे 1574 से 1581 तक. Guru Nanak, founder of Sikhism, lived in 15th to 16th century. Guru Gobind Singh, last Sikh Guru, 1675 to 1708, founded Khalsa but not Kuka movement. Guru Gobind Singh. Pagalpanthi rebellion was ended a rebellion of Garo. Pagalpanth movement 1825 to 1833 was a semi-religious movement among Garos in Bengal, led by Karam Shah and his son Tipu. Tipu declared himself king of Sherpur and resisted British and Jamindari oppression. Anand Math is based on Sannyasi rebellion 1763 to 1800. आनंद मठ लिखा था बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी ने 1882 में. वंदे मातरम उसी में था. कोल अपराइजिंग 1831 to 32 एंड पबना रिवोल्ट 1873 to 76 were tribal and peasant movements against British rule. बरही यातल resistant मुंगेर was about बक्सत land restoration. Wahhabi movement 1820s to 1870s was centered in Patna and aimed at Islamic revivalism. Kuka movement 1840s to 1872 was led by Guru Ram Singh in Punjab. Pagalpanthi movement 1825 to 1833 was Garo-led rebellion in Bengal. Who among the following was the leader of Haraji rebellion? Dadu Mian. Who among the following was the leader of Haraji movement? Dadu Mian. The Faraji movement was founded by Haji Sariutullah in 1818 in Faridpur, Bengal. Faraji movement was founded by Haji Sariutullah in 1818 in Faridpur, Bengal. This movement aimed at Islamic revivalism and peasants' rights. Dadu Mian 1819 to 1862, son of Haji Sariutullah, led the rebellion against British rule and Jamindari oppression. Post Dadu Mian death, the movement merged with Wahhabi movement. Faraji movement was founded by Haji Sariullah in 1818 in Faridpur, Bengal. The movement aimed at Islamic revivalism and peasants' rights. Dadu Mian 1819 to 1862, son of Haji Sariullah, led the rebellion against British rule and Jamindari oppression. Shamsher Gaji, a Bengali rural and military leader in Tripura. Wazir Ali, he was deposed Nawab of Awadh 1797 to 98. Not involved in Bengal's peasant movements. Who were the Farajis? Followers of Haji Sariullah. Farajis were followers of Faraji movement initiated by Haji Sariullah in Bengal 1818. The term Faraji comes from Fard, compulsory religious duty in Islam. दादू मियाँ भी आगे चल के लीड किए। दादू मियाँ, अच्छा दादू दयाल, दादू मियाँ नहीं दादू दयाल, अच्छा यहाँ दादू दयाल दिया है। ये भक्ति संत थे, वो फाउंडेड दादू पंथ। फॉलोअर ऑफ आर्य समाज की स्थापना स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती ने 1875 में की, और वो हिंदू रिफॉर्मर मूवमेंट करने वाले थे। मुस्लिम लीग 1906 में वाज ए पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, मतलब फाउंड हुई थी 1906 में। वेलू थम्पी लेड ए रिबेलियन अगेंस्ट द ब्रिटिश इन केरला। ठीक, दीवान वेलू थम्पी ऑफ त्रावणकोर लेड ए रिबेलियन अगेंस्ट द सब्सिडरी अलायंस 1805 imposed by Lord Wellesley. He issued the Kundara Proclamation 1809 calling for resistance against British rule. The British suppressed the revolt and Velu Thampi committed suicide in 1809. Ganjam Revolt and Gumsur Revolt. Ganjam Revolt occurred during 1800 to 1805. सही है. Ganjam Revolt was led by Dhananjay. Revolt of Gumsur was led by Srikar Bhanja. Dhananjay was the father of Srikar Bhanja नहीं, Srikar Bhanja II के वो थे. Ganjam Revolt 1800 to 1805 and Gumsur Revolt 1805 to 37 were tribal uprisings in Odisha में था. Who founded Ramosi Krisak Jatha in Maharashtra? Vasudev Balwant Phadke. रामोसी कृषक जत्था, वासुदेव बलवंत फड़के was found 1870s was founded to mobilize peasant against British rule. Vasudev Balwant Phadke is regarded as the first Indian revolutionary to use armed rebellion against British rule. मतलब armed rebellion, लड़ो. He was arrested and died in 1883 in Kalapani, Andaman Cellular Jail. The correct geographical location of Ramosi uprising was Western Ghat, मतलब महाराष्ट्र में. Ramosi revolution 1822, 1825 to 26, 1831 to 32 occurred in Western Ghats, Maharashtra. It was a tribal rebellion against British revenue policies and land taxation. Which of the following places were the center of Gatkari rebellion? कोल्हापुर में हुआ था. Gatkari were hereditary Maratha fort servants. Rebelled in Kolhapur 1844 against British land revenue policies. The British army struggled to suppress the rebellion. Trace the tribe that rebelled against the British because the human sacrifice system was banned. The tribe that rebelled against the British because the human sacrifice system was banned. Khond. Khonds of Odisha's central provinces Bengal and Tamil Nadu revolted from 1846 to 1855. British banned the Maria system, human sacrifice practiced by Khond, leading to the revolt led by Chakra Biswai. The revolt was also against taxation and zamindari interference. Faraji movement 1818 to 1862 was a peasant Islamic reform movement led by Dadu Mian in Bengal. ठीक, वेलू थम्पी revolt 1805 to 1809 Kerala was against British subsidiary alliance system. Ganjam 1800 to 1805 and Gumsur 1808 to 1837 revolt were tribal uprising in Odisha. Vasudev Balwant Phadke 1870s founded Ramosi Krisak Jatha for peasant mobilization. Gatkari rebellion 1844 Kolhapur was a Maratha fort workers revolt against British revenue policy. Khond uprising 1846 to 55 was against the ban on the human sacrifice and British taxation. Who had led Kol revolt? Buddhu Bhagat. Kol revolt 1831 to 32 was led by Buddhu Bhagat in Chota Nagapur, present day Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha and West Bengal. The British introduced new land revenue policies, leading on the invasion of tribal land by zamindars, moneylenders and outsiders. Dikus, outsiders को dikus कहते थे. Coal tribes include Mundas, Orans and Hos, revolted and killed around 1000 outsiders. before being suppressed by British forces. Sarg, no historical evidence of Sarg leading the Kol Bhagat is common title. Jatra Bhagat led the Tana Bhagat movement 1914, a non-violent movement, tribal movement against British rule. Jatra Bhagat movement. Coal movement of 1831 under Buddhu Bhagat took place in which of the following? Singhbhum. Region Singhbhum. Singhbhum coal tribe inhabited Singhbhum, Ranchi, Hazaribagh, Palamu and Mandhum region. British land laws allowed Hindu, Sikh, Muslim farmers, zamindars and moneylenders to encroach upon tribal lands. The rebellion resulted in large-scale killings and suppression by British forces. Kutch rebellion 1819 to 31. ठीक. Western Ghat had tribal movement like Ramosi movement 1822, 1825 to 32. Satara was involved in 1857 revolt. Waghera uprising happened in Baroda. Waghera's local chief of Gujarat revolted against British rule 1818 to 1819. Gaikwad of Baroda, British allies, forced Wagheras to rebel due to high taxation and land policies. British forces crushed the rebellion and a peace treaty ended in 1820. Which among the following uprisings against British colonial power? Sepoy mutiny in Bengal 1764. Battle of Buxar के बाद मीर कासिम soldier revolted. Vellore mutiny 1806, first major sepoy revolt against British rule. Vellore mutiny 1806. Kutch rebellion 1819 to 31, resistance against British annexation of Kutch. Coal uprising 1831 to 32, tribal rebellion in Chota Nagpur Plateau led by Buddhu Bhagat. Santhal 1855 to 56, led by Sidhu and Kanhu Murmu against Jamindari operation. Sepoy mutiny in Bengal 1764, Kutch rebellion 1819 to 31. इसके बाद सिपाही म्यूटनी ऑफ वेल्लोर 1806, फिर कच्छ रिबेलियन 1819 टू 31, संथल 18 फिर कोल 1831 टू 32, फिर संथल 1855 टू 1856. रिवोल्ट ऑफ वेल्लोर अक्वर्ड ड्यूरिंग द रिजाइन ऑफ विच गवर्नर? सर जॉर्ज बार्लो. वेल्लोर का अपराइजिंग कब? सर जॉर्ज बार्लो के समय में हुआ था. वेल्लोर म्यूटनी 1806 was the first major sepoy uprising against British rule caused by religious interference. New dress codes banning caste marks and forcing soldiers to wear leather. Use of Mysore royal family's flag by rebels. British forces executed leaders and suppressed the rebellion. Revolt of Vellore. Sir George Barlow. When did Chota Nagpur tribal revolt occur? 1820 में. In 1820 who revolt? 1820 to 21. There was no single Chota Nagpur tribal revolt but multiple revolt occur. जैसे चेरोन revolt 1800, हो revolt 1820 to 21, कोल 31 to 32, 1831 to 32, संथाल 1855 to 56, मुंडा 1899 to 1900. ठीक, चूंकि ऑप्शन वहाँ दिया था तो हम यही मान लेते हैं. इन विच टेरिटरी डिड ट्राइबल लीडर अगेंस्ट द ब्रिटिश? बिहार. बिहार चूँकि बिहार छोटा नागपुर रीजन है तो हो जाएगा. हो 1820 to 21 and Munda 1831 to 37. Tribes of Chota Nagpur rebelled against British expansion. Who led the revolt of Santhals? Sidhu Kanu, Bhairav Chand. Santhal revolt 1855 to 56 were led by four brothers Sidhu Kanu, Bhairav Chand Murmu. Damine Koh region, Jharkhand, Bihar and West Bengal was the main center. British forces led by Major Burrog brutally suppressed the revolt. Coal revolt 1831 to 32 led by Buddhu Bhagat in Singhbhum. Waghera Uprising 1818 to 1820 occurred in Baroda. Vellore Mutiny 1806 took place during Governor General Barlow's tenure. Chota Nagpur Tribal Uprising including Ho 1820, Kor 1831, Santhal 1855 and Munda 1899 to 1900. Santhal Rebellion 1855 to 56 was led by Sidhu Kanu Bhairav and Chandu Murmu. After Santhal uprising was suppressed, what measures were taken by the colonial government? The territories called Santhal Pargana was created. सही है. It became illegal for Santhal to transfer land to a non-Santhal. बिल्कुल सही है. Santhal rebellion 1855 to 56, also known as Santhal Hul, was led by Sidhu Kanu, Chand and Bhairav Murmu against British rule and Jamindari operation. After rebellion's suppression, British created the Santhal Pargana 1856 to address Santhal grievances. Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act 1876 made it illegal for Santhal to transfer their land to non-Santhals, preventing land alienation. What was the Santhal Pargana region called in ancient time? Nari Khand. Ancient Buddhist literature referred to Santhal Pargana region as Nari Khand. During Mahabharat region, it was part of Ang Mahajanpad and was also known as Kajangala. Which of the following uprising occurred in Maharashtra? Bhil Uprising. Bhil Uprising 1818 to 31 in Khandesh, Maharashtra was against British annexation and revenue policies. Led by tribal chief, Bhil attacked British establishment but were suppressed. Cool revolt 1831 to 32 led by Buddhu Bhagat occurred in Chota Nagpur. Rampa Uprising 1879 was led by Aluri Sitaram Raju against British forest laws in Andhra Pradesh. Santhal 1855 to 56 was led by Sidhu Kanu, Chand and Bhairav, who launched Lasodia movement for social reform among Bhils of Mewar, Bagar and near region Govindgiri. Lasodia movement late 19th century was launched for Bhils social and religious upliftment. Govindgiri founded Samp Sabha in 1883 to organize Bhil community. Samp Sabha. ये कौन सी सभा थी? सांप सभा लसोदिया मूवमेंट भील सब मेवाड़ बगार एंड नियर बाई रीजन्स के लिए. सबका अपना अपना काम था, सबने अपना अपना प्रयास किया. ओके, तो अब हम लोग आते हैं यहाँ. मावजी ए रिलीजियस लीडर ऑफ भील. सुरमल दास, कोई वो नहीं. मोतीलाल तजावत led the Eki movement 1921 in Rajasthan against feudal exploitation. Motilal Tejawat. Ulgulan revolt was led by Birsa Munda. Ulgulan Munda rebellion 1899 to 1900 was led by Birsa Munda against British feudal exploitation and land dispossession. British suppressed the revolt and Birsa Munda was captured and died in Ranchi jail in 1900. Santhal was against the British and Jamindari system. Kachabag. Kool revolt 1831 to 32 led by Buddhu Bhagat. Santhal rebellion 1855 to 56 led the formation of Santhal Pargana and restriction on land transfers. Bhil uprising 1818 to 31 was led in Maharashtra resisting British rule in Khandesh. Lasodia movement 19th century was led by Govindgiri for Bhil social reform. Ulgulan Munda rebellion 1899 to 1900 led by Birsa Munda against British land policies. Ulgulan. Kool 1831 to 32 led by Buddhu Bhagat occurred in Singhbhum, Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha. Rampa 1879 was in Andhra Pradesh against British forest laws. Who took the lead of Santhal rebellion in 1855 AD? Sidhu and Kanhu. Buddhu and Tejabhadra. Sidhu Kanhu Santhal rebellion, Santhal Hul 1855 to 56 were led by Sidhu Kanhu Bhairav and Chand Murmu. Santhal revolted against British rule, oppressive Jamindars and moneylenders. Dikus in Damine Koh region, Jharkhand, Bengal, Bihar. Jharkhand, Damine Koh region, Jharkhand, Bengal, Bihar. Buddhu Bhagat and Teja Bhagat movement. Buddhu Bhagat led the Coal Rebellion 1831 to 32. Teja Bhagat led the Tana Bhagat movement 1914, a non-violent tribal movement inspired by Gandhi. Mulu Manch and Jodha Manak. Madari Pasi led the Pasi revolt 19th century against British exploitation. Which among the following year did the Santhal revolt occur? 1855 to 56. Santhal rebellion 1855 to 56 began in June 30, 1855 with 10,000 Santhal gathering at Bhognadi to revolt against British revenue policies and Dikus मतलब outsiders जो थे. Coal rebellion led by Buddhu Bhagat 1831 to 32. 1851 to 52 Santhal unrest increased in early 1850s, but the rebellion officially started in 1855. Who led Santhal rebellion? Sidhu and Kanhu और दो लोग और थे, नाम भूल गया, अभी याद था, भैरव और चंद. Jaipal Singh was a Santhal leader and founder of Jharkhand party, but not related to Santhal rebellion. Master Tara Singh was a Sikh leader who led movement for Sikh political rights. Shibu Soren, Jharkhand-based politician. Who were the leaders of Santhal revolt? Sidhu Kanhu. The four brothers Sidhu Kanhu, Chand and Bhairav Murmu 1855 to 56. Jara Bhagat and Balram Bhagat, Tana Bhagat movement 1914 में was a non-violent movement inspired by Gandhian ideology. Goraks, Hani Bhagat and Keshav Chandra Roy. Sambh Matpal Koraya Malaya. Koraya Malaya was associated with Andhra tribalist group. Who was the chief leader of Santhal revolt? Sidhu Murmu was the primary leader along with Kanhu Bhairav and Chand Murmu. Birsa Munda led the Ulgulan Munda rebellion, not the Santhal revolt. Ulgulan Munda rebellion, Birsa Munda. Bhima Nayak was involved in Bhil revolt against British in Western India. Swami Govind Giri led the Bhil revolt movement, not the Santhal rebellion. Santhal 1855, Kol 1831, Khasi 1829, Ahom 1828. ठीक, Ahom 1828 was led by Gomdhar Kumar against British annexation of Assam. Which British commander was defeated by Santhal in 1855? तो Major Burrak. Santhal initially defeated British forces under Major Burrak in Pirpanti. Later, British reinforcement brutally suppressed the rebellion. With reference to the Santhal Hul in 1855, which of the following statements are correct? Major Burroj lost the battle with Santhal near भागलपुर, बिल्कुल सही है. गोको was an important leader of गुद्दा. ठीक है. महाजन दीन दयाल राय was also an important figure. सही है. Santhal never enjoyed full sovereignty over Ganga Valley. ये गलत है. Santhal rebellion 1855 to 56 was led by Sidhu Kanhu, Bhairav and Chand Murmu. Major Burrak was defeated at Pirpanti. Ahom revolt occurred in 1828, not 1815. Santhal Pargana was created after rebellion and land transfer to non-Santhal were banned. With reference to the history of India, Ulgulan or the Great Tumult is the description of which of the following? ये बिरसा मुंडा रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1899 to 1900 था. Ulgulan meaning great tumult and refers to the Munda rebellion led by Birsa Munda in 1899 to 1900. Munda revolted against British rule and feudal landlords, aiming to establish an independent Munda Raj. The rebellion was ultimately suppressed and Birsa Munda was captured in January 1900 and died in Ranchi jail. The revolt of 1857 was widespread uprising against British rule, but it was not called Utkulan. Mappila rebellion of 1921. Mappila rebellion 1921 was a peasant revolt in Malabar, Kerala against British landlords and Hindu landlords. The Indigo Revolt 1859 to 60 was a protest by Bengali peasants against European planters, forcing them to grow indigo under exploitative contracts. Which tribal leader is known as Dharti Aba, Birsa Munda, father of the world? Birsa Munda is 1875 to 1900 was known as Dharti Aba, father of earth among Mundas. He led the Ulgulan movement against British and feudal landlords, aiming to restore tribal autonomy. Kanu Sanyal was one of the founders of Naxalite movement in 1967. Who was the leader of Munda rebellion? Birsa. Birsa Munda led the Munda rebellion 1899 to 1900, also known as Ulgulan. Rebellion sought to restore the Khunkatti tribal land rights system and resist the exploitation of moneylender landlords and British officials. Who was the leader of Munda revolt? Birsa Munda. Munda rebellion was led by Birsa Munda and it took place in the late 19th century, 1899 to 1900. Birsa mobilized Munda tribal people in fight against British policies that affected their land rights and traditional ways of life. Munda rose in revolt in which year? 1895 99. अच्छा हाँ, मतलब यहाँ से शुरू हुआ था. In 1895, Birsa Munda began his reformist movement among the Mundas, rejecting superstition and advocating for tribal rights. This later turned into Ulgulan movement 1899 to 1900. Birsa was recaptured while asleep on which date? On 3 February 1900. मतलब वो सोए हुए थे कि उनको उठा के लेके चले गए. Birsa Munda was captured on the night of 3rd February 1900 while he was asleep in the forest. He was later imprisoned and died in Ranchi jail on 9th June 1900. मतलब 3 फरवरी को 3 फरवरी 1900 को वो गिरफ्तार किए गए और 9th जून 1900 में उनकी मृत्यु हो गई. कहाँ? रांची जेल में. Birsa Munda led Ulgulan Munda rebellion in 1899 to 1900 against British rule and feudal landlords. Birsa Munda was known as Dharti Aba, father of earth among Munda people. Munda rebellion aimed to restore traditional Khunkatti system, tribal land rights. इंडिविजुअल्स को नहीं, शायद कम्युनिटी को ही रहे लैंड. Birsa Munda was captured on 3 February 1900, died in Ranchi jail on 9 June 1900. Munda revolt was revivalist movement that sought to remove non-tribal influence from Munda society. बिरसा मुंडा was in favor of झारखंड नहीं, मतलब उनका खुद का अपना अलग होना चाहिए था. बिरसा मुंडा led the Ulgulan movement to establish Munda Raj, but never advocated for formation for separate Jharkhand or any other state. His primary goal was to restore the tribal Khunkatti system, traditional land ownership. Khunkatti system. Jharkhand was formed in 2000. Although Birsa's movement was centered in present day Chhattisgarh also formed in 2000. उत्तरांचल भी उसी समय उत्तराखंड. Which was the following area of Birsa Munda? Ranchi. Birsa Munda's movement expanded from Ranchi to Bhagalpur, mainly covering Chota Nagpur to modern-day Jharkhand. He fought for the right of Mundas and other tribal groups against British exploitation and feudal landlords. Champaran was associated with Gandhiji's struggle against indigo planters, not Birsa Munda. Balia was the center of 1857 revolt. Alipur, related to revolutionaries like Arvindo Ghosh. Alipur jail, Bengal, was famous for political prisoners, but Birsa Munda was also imprisoned in रांची जेल. ठीक, तो यहीं हम लोग ख़त्म करते हैं. थैंक यू बाबा.